understand, it is contagious, but the death rate is pretty low. So, yeah, I understand the fear.
Yeah, well, we can see you still have a cough. What do the doctors say about your own condition moving forward as we wrap this up?
So, excuse me. Let me get some of that. They said, yeah, I'm fine. I got tested twice, negative both times. The cough, probably just nerves.
Yeah, being on TV.
Fair enough.
I think as time goes forward, hopefully doctors and scientists will get a better handle on the whole situation. Fortunately, from what I understand, it is contagious, but the death rate is pretty low. So, yeah, I understand the fear.
Yeah, well, we can see you still have a cough. What do the doctors say about your own condition moving forward as we wrap this up?
Excuse me. Let me get some of that. They said, yeah, I'm fine. I got tested twice, negative both times. The cough, probably just nerves.
Yeah.
Probably not, ladies and gentlemen, because the virus never goes away. Their tests don't work. They're hiding everything. And what we can tell so far by all of the information that we've covered for the last 30 plus days is that the mass extermination is on the way. And they're just trying to keep people with their shields down until they start liquidating block by block, house by house. Ladies and gentlemen, just like we saw in China. Now, there's a lot to be said about this video that we're looking at here. The poor girl, if you look there, I mean, now she's drinking the contaminated water, but she's infected. Everybody around this dude is infected, has been for quite some time. In fact, it's probably safe to say that most people in America right now are infected, as well as most people in the Northern Hemisphere. But they're just not letting everybody know because there's a 3-week incubation period before the first phase hits in most cases. Now, we're going to cover what we can, but just pay attention to this girl, how she's blinking. She doesn't want to let go of the bottle. The only way she can not, cough is basically by drinking the water. They're both very sick people, and they're both positive and infecting other people right now. This is what we're learning from sources overseas, doctors on the front lines treating this in Japan and South Korea and even China. And so people relapse and they reinfect. This is why they're exterminating, is because there is no cure. There'll probably never be a cure because this is a dead man's switch. And, it's a doomsday virus. The best thing that you can hope for is to manage the disease and buy yourself as much time as you can. And, this is a preemptive attack, ladies and gentlemen. And, the Chinese have waged war on the entire world, and they're going to try and get away with it. But we'll get into that. We'll get into everything. Obviously, if you've been watching the news, the case numbers have been skyrocketing everywhere. The panic is starting to set in. We hope that you took our advice and prepared. I'm sure you're liking us a whole lot better now if you have prepared and if you're aware of what's coming next. Most of the sheeple have no idea. They think it's just like the flu or something like that. But this is so much worse than the flu. This is a bioweapon. And even when they ask this guy, what do the doctors say? He kind of looks away and pauses and he's like, oh, I hope they can find something in the future. But this virus here is meant to kill everyone. The question is, what's the antidote? It's kind of like Indiana Jones, if you will, Temple of Doom. There's an antidote out there. What is it? Is it not being exposed to the 5G? Is it something else? We're going to have to find ways that work and communicate that as long as we can. Undoubtedly, the internet will cut soon, ladies and gentlemen. And so you'll need to, set up a network of Red Dawn resistance, like the movie Red Dawn. The commies are coming, quite literally. The libtards, you've seen them on TV. The demons with the mark of the beast, you've seen them on TV. They're coming, and you're going to have to resist the communist invasion from within. We have an enemy from within, ladies and gentlemen. You've seen them on television. You know who they are. And, their minions, their demonic minions will be coming to round you up. And, they'll be focusing on the big cities first. But undoubtedly, you'll have, limited goon squads out in the towns and the like. And chances are they won't be as well equipped. So you'll have an opportunity to defend yourselves. Don't go quietly into the night. We've seen numerous videos of mass arrests. They're going to, rape and pillage, civil asset forfeiture, if you will. You must defend yourselves. It is your constitutional right, and it is your right as a human to defend yourself from tyranny. This is going to be no different than the Nazi occupation when they start liquidating people from the ghettos into the death camps. And chances are, they've turned our cities into death camps, and all they got to do is just flip on these death towers to the right frequency, if you will. Do not believe what these people are saying on television. They're setting you up. It's all about the setup, and they're just trying to make you feel like, oh, it's okay, keep going to the rallies. I'm really upset that they had the CPAC thing. A lot of good people probably got infected there. And, every rally is the same thing. And, this was timed out during, the elections for a reason, because everybody would be getting together. It was timed out, over the New Year's holiday for a reason. Everything is about the timing here. And, this allows the virus to hide behind the noise of the flu and to, basically sneak attack on everyone. And since everybody travels around the holidays, worldwide infection was guaranteed. And, it was probably the best time to launch this attack. And this is a preemptive attack that has, in theory, compromised command and control in all branches of all services and all agencies and the like. Everybody's been contaminated. And now it's a ticking time bomb. And there's no telling when everybody's going to start dropping dead. But you really have to act according to the premise there that we've all been infected by this doomsday virus, and that everything is going to break down here in weeks, maybe a month or two, before it really starts, getting crazy out there. They're probably going to give people a little time to adjust to their new world, if you will, where everything's locked down, quarantine zones, checkpoints, and the like. And little by little, they'll just start, thinning out the herd. Little by little, little by little, little by little. The virus will do most of the work. And then they just gotta, selective target. All they gotta do is show up to your house with an ambulance and a couple of people in white suits, if you will. And nobody will know the difference. It's gonna be mass panic. There's going to be mass roundups. Don't go that way. And there's going to be so much panic. Things are going to be so disorganized that, it's going to become like the Wild West. They're not going to be able to depend on, the classic type of backup responses. If something happens in your town, the whole police department shows up, right? All of a sudden you got 1,000 people there, pointing guns at you. But in the future, in the relative near future, they won't have that many resources at their disposal, if you will. And everything is going to be jammed up. And, as soon as they start getting injured, it's going to be trouble, because they're not going to be able to get the help they need. They're going to get infected. And so it's just the best way to thin out the goon squads is to, fight back. And they'll basically buckle rather quickly as things degenerate. They'll figure out that they're as victimized as everybody else. What are they really fighting for? But it's important that, we resist when they start transitioning that way, and they will. We've been monitoring international media. We're as, let's just say, informed as most intelligence agencies out there. And you can tell by the phoniness, the fakiness, how they've set everybody up with the fake tests and let this thing kind of come in, that they're planning the mass extermination. They're not here to, help you, but they, this is going to follow a plan, a strategy, a script. And, just watch this just get worse and worse and worse and worse. And all of a sudden, what seems normal today will seem like, a long gone memory 2-3 weeks from now. What you've thought of as normal your whole entire life is about to disappear. And it's now going to become like a Hollywood blockbuster movie. And there's a reason why, many people out there like those kind of movies. You know what I mean? And we're going to find out exactly what you've picked up from those movies to survive. You knew this was coming. Maybe you thought you had, 5 years, 10 years. It's happened. It's been happening. And, from the surveillance that we've gotten from China, we can tell there's mass extermination, mass liquidations. Everything's a front. Their re-education camps are just a front. It's just kind of like an episode on Friends. They bring in a crew of actors. They film people like singing and reading and stuff like that. But, we've got the videos of them, offloading people on from trains onto platforms. They're all basically bound and gagged, hoodies, like massively. This is coming to America, and they'll have to transition to make it look normal. This process is called hyper-normalization. And so if they go too quickly, then all of a sudden people are going to freak out, like, hey, what's going on? It's the boiling frogs syndrome here. So little by little, things are going to become crazier and crazier, but you're going to adjust and normalize to it, thinking, oh, well, this has to be done. There's an infection. There's an epidemic. There needs to be, quarantines. And in fact, you'll be rooting for the roundups. Oh, that one's infected. Get him. You might even help with, the mass extermination. Oh, that one just came from Chicago. He's infected for sure. Look at his plates. That's an out-of-towner. That's an out-of-stater. You know what I mean? He's probably infected. Before long, everybody's going to be in the infected psychosis like we saw in China, chasing down people, reporting people, and the like. You'll be cheering when they, drag somebody kicking and screaming to a camp, quite literally. This is the process of hypernormalization. But you have to remember where you come from. You have to remember who you are. And, in my mind, I'm still in the 1990s in America, in Fargo, where I grew up. That's my world. I never changed. And, after 9/11, it felt like I was in a time capsule, just watching the world just kind of, adjust to the new homeland and just play along with the television and the indoctrination. I never went there. Don't go where the television is going to bring you as normal. There's nothing normal about this. They let this virus in. This is their virus. This is their extermination program. And the more you go along with it, the more you're just helping them out. And so, the first step was to prepare. The second step is to write out, the initial waves where people are going to, drop dead and surge into, the grocery stores and to the, hospitals and the like. Those will be the first ones to be exterminated. Then comes the liquidation, the roundups, and the like. And that's going to be your time to shine. When they start dragging people out of the buildings, you'll probably get word of it just before they cut off the internet, censor, everything. But as soon as you start getting a glimpse of liquidation, prepare. Prepare for the goon squads to start coming to your neighborhood, checking on your, what do they call it? A wellness check, right? They've already kind of like prepared people for all of this. Shelter in place, wellness check. That shit didn't exist in the 90s. I'm just telling you right now. It didn't exist in the 90s. But now it does. So they've already kind of, prepared, conditioned people for what's coming next. They're going to ask you to shelter in place. And then they're going to tell you we're going to come do wellness checks. And whether it be random or, whatever, they're going to start liquidating little by little, bringing people away. And you'll be like, oh yeah, that one was infected, dude. Wow, there's one on our street. Oh, look, there's another one. Wow, how we doing on supplies? And little by little, they're going to just start emptying everybody. And now they may wait for the smart ones to last because they know that's when the shit's going to get real. And if they start having firefights with people in broad daylight, other people might panic and go, what's going on, and then they might join in. So chances are they're going to go after the sheeple first. That's what I would do if I was Dr. Evil. I would, okay, let's just, start eliminating as many people as we can, and then we'll mop up. The more people that they can just toss in the fire for free, the less they have to worry about, when they come to basically that last stage, which is, all the people that are awake. The veterans, the patriots, the Christians, and the people in the inner cities. But they're probably going to get it the worst first. The last thing they want is millions of inner city people with guns and all this stuff running around, targeting the 5-0. But I'll tell you what, that's probably going to happen real quick. In fact, it's already there in cities like New York. And so as soon as it starts buckling, you can bet there's going to be a lot of Wild West action. And, they'll probably kind of spin it like some kind of Ferguson kind of thing, but we'll have to see. The chances are they're going to be, in these big cities, they've thought about this. In these big cities, they're going to flip on this 5G on high. And if you want to survive out there, we were talking about this yesterday, you're going to have to take out these death towers. And, they're there to basically weaken your immune system and to accelerate the course of the disease. So it's going to be imperative, Red Dawn, target number 1 late at night is going to be these death towers in your town. And, this is after, everything breaks down. We're not saying to go do that now. We're talking about, when it's total anarchy and, everything is broken down. So, at that stage, you need to survive. It's like, there's a fire, you got to put it out. You might have to break down a door to do it. You know what I mean? So this isn't something that we would recommend in normal times. This isn't the kind of people that we are. If you look at our broadcasts, we've never been out there like, hey, you see the goon squads. No, but this is completely different, right? So, based on the intelligence that we're getting, from China, and you see, you can see this footage for yourselves. We've shown it to you. We didn't hide it and go, I'm just going to keep it for myself, right? So we gathered the intelligence, we shared it, and our analysis, which is, spot on, is that they're going to come and exterminate. And, in the meantime, they're going to be hypnotizing everybody. And undoubtedly, it's going to be the lemmings that go first. But be on your guard. You never know. These people are crafty. And if you're a person that's awake, you're a target. First and foremost, if they come, being all mysterious at your door, it's not by chance. It's part of the program. They're looking to exterminate, and they need an excuse. So don't give them an excuse. You don't want to be out there first couple of weeks as everything's locking down. You kind of want to get a feel for what's going on. Get some recon as far as what's happening in your neighborhood, in your town. Talk to people and the like. You're really going to want to develop assets and resources in your city or in your town if you want to survive. The more you know, the better. And the television isn't going to tell you squat. And chances are, pages like this will go black. But be sure to check out our website, stfnreport.com. We'll try and maintain that as long as we can. But bookmark that website, stfnreport.com. And if we broadcast every single day. If you see that we haven't broadcast, don't forget about us. Go to our website. Check a couple times a day for the next 24, 48 hours, and you'll see new updates for sure. But we've had our pages basically shut down so many times that you'd think you were in Nazi Germany. Quite literally, free speech gone, all of that stuff. So to see right now the whole West Coast light up with this virus, to me that's actually a pretty positive thing. I'll be honest with you. That it couldn't happen to more deserving people out there. You see what they've done to their states, our country, and everything. These people have got to go. And we would have liked to have just deported them to Canada, But here's this virus. It's going to do the dirty work for everybody. And now the question is, what are you going to do? You're going to get, welded shut into your building? Are you going to get buried alive in your neighborhood? Are they going to cut you off from the entire world and let you starve there? Don't wait for them to give you handouts, like the Red Cross or some shit like that, because you can bet all that stuff is going to be laced and poisoned. That's the reports that we've gotten from China as well. All the handouts have been poisoned, and it's just part of the extermination program. You're thinking, oh, wow, they've given me water and food, and that's when they get you, on top of everything else. And since everybody's positive anyways, you think they're going to do autopsies? It's like, no, there goes another one. Yep, another one. You know what I mean? So you really got to think 2 steps ahead. You really got to think worst case scenario with what's going on here. You have to imagine the absolute worst kind of motives when looking at this situation. If you want to be able to get 2 steps ahead, you got to think like Dr. Evil. What would Dr. Evil do when you start seeing the situation unfold? Because it's literally Dr. Evil rolling this shit out. The devil. Dr. Evil, take your pick. But in any case, it's going that way, and people need to prepare. The latest numbers speak for themselves. I mean, you can, look at the updates. It's as projected, and we're pretty much like the first weeks of the outbreak. Just before the lockdown. We're not far behind from the rest of these videos that we've been showing people, and I hope that you've been paying attention. I hope that all of you out there have been paying attention. Okay, what do we got here? We got the video guy on vacation, as usual. Right, ladies and gentlemen? How's everybody doing out there? We're hacking the Matrix once again. Broadcasting live on the screw tube. And, of course, we're just looking for something here. So, latest in California and West Coast, I mean, just nightmare scenarios. You've got, confirmed cases of community spread linked to schools. So, we were telling people, pull your kids out of schools, and, that should be done already. But don't take the chance. I mean, quit your job, go on vacation, whatever, start preparing right now, and start taking care of yourselves. Chances are everybody's already been infected. That's the joy of it, and so you're going to have to manage this disease the best you can. And that's pretty much all anyone can say at this stage. We've talked about things that, seem to work, but everything you can do to boost your immune system, vitamin C, D, K, magnesium, zinc, iodine, lemons, get lots of lemons, baking soda, hydrogen peroxide. But, it's best to do everything with moderation. Don't go, tablespoons of baking soda. Don't be, nebulizing hydrogen peroxide 10 times a day. So why hydrogen peroxide? Because that deactivates coronavirus. Oxygen is like its kryptonite. So, however, carbon-rich environments are basically what fuels this virus. So, you want fresh air, right? You don't want urban air. You don't want indoor pollution, especially, in community kind of settings where you're stuck with people. Don't breathe their air. Get fresh air out all the time. Remember that you're dealing with a bioweapon. So don't treat it like a flu virus. Treat it like a bioweapon. Decontaminate often. We recommend white vinegar and not chlorine. Chlorine is, basically a chemical weapon. That's what those people in Syria were using all the time. A cheap chemical weapon. Chlorine. Who would have imagined that they would be deploying chlorine everywhere as, a means of attack? But, all those types of things are really, there in your household products. And that's why you have to be careful. You don't want to gas yourself with the chlorine. Reminds us of the sad stories of people in Japan committing suicide with, mixing just detergent with bleach. Makes a real nasty gas. So you want to be careful about not mixing, bleach and detergent together. in your house. You know what I mean? But in any case, you've got these demons everywhere. They control the system. They're in it together like a bunch of Charlie Manson groupies. It's how they got away with 9/11. It's how they get away with all of their Gladio B events. They control the policy and the politics. And they've been rolling out their death programs for, many years. Their eugenics programs, the cell towers, the GMOs, the vaccines, you name it, right? And so it's, it's quite clear that these people are out to get you. It's not your imagination. And those people around you in your entourage that would laugh at you, that would make excuses for these people, that think you're crazy or whatever, these people are demons. They're Judases in disguise. If they are not with you, they are against you. And this is going to be a holy war, ladies and gentlemen, against evil. And, there is no murder in war. If people are guilty of capital crimes, then they're guilty of capital crimes. And not everybody is going to be able to, deliver justice, but justice needs to be rendered. That is a requirement. Now you got to make sure that you're on the right side of the fence, ladies and gentlemen. How do you know that? Well, you want to follow the 10 Commandments. That's the right side of the fence. And the people that violate those 10 Commandments are committing capital crimes. It's as easy as that. And so, our society will become a Puritan society or a demonic society. We're at that tipping point. It's going to go one way or the other. It's going to be like the Civil War, free people versus slaves, and the like. Well, that's not exactly the situation of the Civil War, but it's going to be basically the North versus the South, except it's not North and South, it's good and evil. And it's going to be, people that want to be free versus people that want to be slaves. And, it's a war. And, sometimes, when things come to this situation, it's ugly, but this is what it is. And I'm not sure how many people know anything about the Civil War and the run up to the Civil War and all of that stuff, but, we've been seeing that basically for quite some time in our, modern era. And, now it's kicked off. The Civil War is kicked off. Now the Luciferians are planning to round you up, as well as, exterminate as many people as they can in, this huge kind of blood sacrifice ritual. And so, they've declared war and they're coming for you. Make no doubt about it. When this is all said and done, they'll be coming for you. And so the question is, are you going to defend yourselves or are you going to go out quietly into the night? And I'll tell you what, if people during World War II, especially, the ones that ended up in camps, if they could have known where they were going to end up, they would have acted much differently when, they were just picked up off the street. When the Gestapo, it always starts with the Gestapo. Then it's the police station, then it's processing, then it's the extermination camps. You know what I mean? And that's where this is going to go, unfortunately. And it's no longer, for the most part, the boys in blue out there. It's, the men in black, and they've turned like basically paramilitary Gestapo-like. And, I think we've all had our run-ins, and it's just like, wow, dude, what happened to America? So, look, either they're going to protect and serve, or they're going to do, they're going to become like the Gestapo, and everybody should prepare for the worst case scenario. And for the time being, it looks, rather, disturbing out there in terms of, what's going on. And what else can we say? Anyways, we're still broadcasting live. How's everybody doing out there? I want to give a big shout out to everybody in the audience. Megan, Danny, Siri, Matthew, unknown somebody, Don, what's going on? Matrix Universe, Stacy, Megan, again, Manu, Audie, CM, Sheepdog, saved by grace, indeed. And on it goes. John Q, The Last Christian, how you doing? Stand firm indeed. And, much love to everybody out there. Look, you're all going to have to be superheroes in your communities. And you may not be able to recruit anybody, but you can prepare. Like MacGyver. Prepare like MacGyver, like a huge episode of MacGyver. You better get all your little traps and everything set up. And have an escape plan. Start planning for the worst case scenario. Okay, well, what if this happens? What if that happens? What do we do here? What do we do there? Oh, the video guy's fired, man. So fired. We do apologize for the video guy. He's on strike. He doesn't want to do this anymore. And look, people are going to start losing their shit all around you. Nobody's going to be able to take, this new world. And they're counting on that. They're counting on, this kind of degenerating so that they can just basically unleash police action. We've been tweeting a lot of videos from what's going on out there. You should really check out the Twitter feed and just see how it's devolved. We'll get into that with a later broadcast. We'll kind of go through all of the updates later, probably in let's say 4 or 5 hours from now. And we'll kind of go through, the latest news like we've done for the past couple days, looking at the numbers and anything that might have come in. But, expect the worst case scenario, and you'll know it when you see it. You'll know it when, the time is right. And again, we're not telling anybody to go do anything illegal. But if society breaks down and it turns into, a full-blown nightmare, you have a responsibility to defend yourself. And the more you do so, the better it is for everyone collectively. And look, the best weapon that you have right now is time, in a sense. You can, manage, this disease and your fatigue better if you're prepared for what's coming now. And all of these goons and everything like that, they're just going to kind of burn out, exhaust themselves, and drop out little by little. So, the more time that can go by before, things really have to get real, in theory, the better it is, because, they're all going to get contaminated. And, we're already starting to get, reports of, entire police departments, barracks, everyone's contaminated. Everything's going to break down. It's going to turn into like the Book of Eli, if you will, before long, something like that, with rogue tribes running around, and it's going to become like a very Nietzsche kind of environment for a while. And so, people have to prepare for that. Your biggest advantage, if you have supplies, because most of the people that are trying to get stuff now, they're only able to get like a shopping cart or two full. So their supplies are going to run out in like a week or two. And you're just going to have to beware of the diabolical prepper out there, because there's quite a few of them, But otherwise, most of the sheeple and everybody's going to fade out in a couple weeks. So chances are, I'd say 3-4 weeks tops, and then it's going to get nasty. So we'll have to see, where all of that ends up. And we'll probably have to leave it there for this broadcast. We appreciate everybody tuning in. We'll be back in about 4 or 5 hours with another thing. But right now our advice is to eliminate, all of the, EMF in your life right now, and maintain your virus load as low as possible. Start drinking lots of water, piss out this virus, and manage your waste, because, pee and everything will reinfect the respiratory tract. So it's very important that you start getting, super, super clean out there, and maintain this situation the best you can. We'll leave it there until the next time, ladies and gentlemen. If you're listening to this, you are the